you know, you can pop into it easily. How many people were able to just kind of pop into it without having to do a lot of fanfare preparation for this oracle? Okay, I know, me too. I'm like, I almost felt guilty. I'm like, wait, I'm not running energy. I'm not spending a long time really accessing, you know, and I was just like, boom, it's all there. And to me, that's the definition of a holy woman. Somebody who can access immediately and can be in her heart for the rest of her life, you know? So I thought I needed to ask that to find out, because that is a measure. How many of you would have been able to do that at the beginning of the training? I mean, like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Semi, right? Yeah. And I don't think I would have been able to. Well, I absolutely know. Like when I first started psychic training, no. But this ability has grown even in the past couple of years for me to just be like, boom, I don't even need to take mama cacao. I don't even need to go into medicine, whatever. If I want to, there's an even more intense amplification at times. And sometimes things will come in that can be really unexpected, but for the most part, you know, it's all right there. So how about if we start now with and share, and we'll go in reverse order, starting with Ariana, Renee, and then Lisa, and then I'll share. What did you receive about these questions?
I asked to connect with galactic allies from the starry realms more than before, and I asked for new information that I've not yet received and new understandings.
Yeah, blessed.
So in terms of question 1, big shift, what are the changes we can expect? How will our bodies be affected? So he said, we showed you spirals as essential shapes of creation. I don't know if you all saw that from another blog that I did, but there was this whole thing on spirals and the sound of spirals. The wheel of your galaxy is a spiral, and we ask that you look at time also as potentially a spiral. A big shift is always happening in the larger universes. The shift for humanity is ongoing. Look to the center of this spiral to begin moving outward again. Energies that have been moving in on the spiral will now begin the journey out. This is a big shift in the sense of a change of direction, but its effects will not be perceived by you to be big at this time. That kind of makes sense, because when you're in there in the center of the spiral, then when you change direction, it's a small shift at the time. Anyway. Your bodies need to be more directly connected to Gaia's core to ride these spirals. In and out are balancing, as up and down are balancing, as high and deep are balancing, as light and dark are balancing. More balance is required in all these areas. And then turned out these were Andromedans. So we in the Andromeda galaxy are linking more directly to you now. This link is bringing laughter, lightness, and joy. We wish to help relieve the stress and gloom many of you who are working for change are feeling. This joy rides to you as starlight, moonlight, crystalline chimes of sound. Use bells and chimes to access it. Singing bowls, as you call them, your tuning forks. Use tuning forks with crystals to amplify. Crystalline chimes of sound. Hear them with your higher and deeper senses. We are linking to help you relax more. Breathe in the sound into your every cell, and deeper still into the inner galaxies, the inner star systems. Crystalline chimes of sound to activate your crystalline DNA, your biophotons. We are with you. Sing to us, sing with us. Crystalline chimes of sound pour through your bodies, your energy fields, your homes, higher and deeper than you can hear. Feel them, sense them, receive them. We send them on the plasma winds to you for healing, perseverance, hope, rest. Rest and rise again. And then on question 2 about problems.
Hold on.
Yeah.
That's brilliant and beautiful. What, I'd like to see you, you know, I do still have plans of somehow using this material from what we've got. You know I have your fairy ones. It just, I haven't been able to get organized yet. Although, Lisa, did you see that you were the featured oracle on last week's e-zine? Okay, so you've all been on there now. I certainly hope you will use that on something of your own, Ariana. I mean, that needs to go out there on an e-zine or something. That's beautiful. Okay.
So then question number 2 about problems, responsibility, triggers, etc. We continue to advise you to expand your perceptions, then expand again. Your triggering comes from a narrow perspective. Expand into greater love and yet greater love, and what you perceive as problems will not be problems. You are only responsible for your own sphere of influence. As you expand your perceptions, you become aware of more possibilities. As you expand your love, you expand your sphere of influence. You are responsible to be love. Try on this idea of spirals, energies moving into the center, then back out again. The cycle of creation. Humanity is an idea. Look at your photos of galaxies, stars, space dust, spirals, again and again and again. And then I started looking up images on Google, and some people have overlaid the Fibonacci spiral thing on top of the galaxy pictures from the Hubble telescope. Yeah. It fits perfectly.
Yeah, right. Total geometry. Yeah.
And then the soul versus divine spark. Are we accessing dormant parts of the brain, etc.? Soul, they're putting quotations marks. Soul rides on the plasma winds. Divine spark is the plasma winds, the electrical energy of creation. We are using senses whose mediation is not entirely brain-centered when we channel. Our current science has left us with limited understandings of our abilities and ways of perceiving information. We say again that you must expand your perceptions. The brain in your skull is only part of your mechanisms of perception. Ha! You have already seen that communication does not require wires, but can ride in the ethers, as your Wi-Fi and cell signals do. When you channel, you access these ways of communication, and they are yet more complex than you have discovered. Direct your attention as you channel through and beyond and beside these other channels. There is more.
Beautiful. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, all of these oracles that we've been developing and delivering are world class. They are just up there with any of the ones that I have seen over the past 20 years. And so it's happening here. We're accessing, boom, you've strengthened the muscle. Beautiful, Ariana, congratulations. Yeah, okay, blessed be. Okay, I'm just gonna mute you a little since I'm getting a little static at times in the thing. Renee, let's have you share.
So I had a lot of fun with these questions. Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Gonna do it can I do number 2 and then go back to 1 and 3? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because I got the most off of number 2. I think I've been thinking about that one for a while. And I got a lot, so I'm gonna read slow because when I get nervous, I stutter and.
Okay. We love you.
But it was about are the problems of the world ours to fix? And I got, a lot of it was visual, but I tried to put it into words. The problems in the world are never ours to fix. We have yet to fully understand the magnificent power of our thoughts and the energy surrounding them. I got an image of a song playing on the radio, and sparkles were coming out of the speakers and filling up the room. Some of the notes were floating in the air, and others were landing on furniture and sticking to the walls.
Wow.
Each note contained a vibration of energy. The energy of the room was changed, and the same is true for darkness. The fear of watching a scary movie changes a room, for example, with fear. The next morning, when you enter this room, you might begin your day a little fearful. And I actually saw, like, when you're watching a movie, I didn't put this in there yet, I'll come back. But when you're watching a movie, you actually, like, I saw the living room and me and my husband watching the scary movie. You're actually, the movie isn't allowed, like, the energy in the movie isn't allowed to come into the room. But when you're watching the movie, you go into the movie energetically. Things stick to you when you bring them out, and now they're in the room.
Wow. Okay. Yep.
That's like a sneaky way of programming. Video games, you know, the music attached.
They have you open your own portal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
The same is true for all emotions: anger, hostility, rage, love, fear, sadness, depression. That is often why some people say a depressed person needs to get out of the house without really fully understanding the reason. One such person goes outside and pays attention to the warmth of the sun on their skin. They pay attention to the warmth of the sun on their skin and they pay attention to the sun instead of whatever they were thinking about inside. And that allows, like, a break in this thought process and allows them to sort of change whatever's going on. And we must all make an effort to be more aware of our thoughts. If you have an unexplained feeling, think back to the last energies that may have been in the room prior to your entering it. A room that is full of love and healing cannot help but change a person when they walk into it. The degree of change is up to the person and what they will allow in. That was okay.
That's brilliant too. And that piece about the movies, that feels like it's important to send it out there, you know, and that's why sometimes I'll remember to tell people when they're looking at this thing that I assign or that thing, like to put your filters up, your shields up, so that you're not opening a portal to that stuff. And I need to remember it myself because, you know, Marguerite, she's like addicted. Okay, it's like a little vice. She knows she shouldn't be watching Cosmic Disclosure, but she watches it anyway. All right, there's this 12-step group for these people. All right, I watched last night. Oh my God, and I binged the past 3 sessions. Because why? You create a portal opening, you don't even know you're doing it. Before you know it, then right before bed. Why is she doing that? Why? We're trying to tell her. Okay, so it's like now I'm really kind of getting more the picture from what you're saying about that. And that's really going to be really important also if and as more disclosure comes in, because now we got these people. I just got an email. This one guy is saying that, you know, Corey Good is not the only person who said he did a 20 and up program. And, you know, now this guy's like Mars. There's going to be all these people. And whenever that comes in, everybody, right, they start opening the portals. And even this happened with the level 2 student. She went on this big trip with this big famous guy who's like in the sort of physics-y world. I will not name who he is, but they went to Peru and she started asking questions. It was all kind of more, he's with physicists, da-da-da-da-da. And then she starts asking about his connection to the astral realms and how he's been taken up in spaceships, this and that. Well, apparently another shaman woman who was there in the group said it was at that point that portals opened, and then the other beings saw what the group was doing, and then that's when the group started getting psychically attacked. And of course, this guy did not have the necessary protections to handle that. And the container holding, he didn't really know to do that. And so like most of them came home like physically sick. And so it's the same thing. It's like being aware of what starts happening for you when you're receiving any kind of information, and scary movies is a good way to start with that. So I just think that's a real teaching piece right there for you. Okay, good. So continue.
I never fully really at all understood programming and how it could be inside of things until I think
right. And like you're saying, the music, you were just saying how, and Ariana, the celestial music, dingy dinkly. No, what do they have? You know, and these scary tonal things. Even on the I'm so annoyed with them, they did it on the Above Majestic film. The whole freaking thing, musically, is a portal to freaking scary energies. The whole entire 2-hour film. The whole entire film. So it's like, why did they do that? You know, you want to have different kinds of vibrations and recognize how much programming comes in. So I'm like, holy crap, you know, now I'm realizing there's all this programming that came in through the Above Majestic film. That's really not helping people. So we need to be aware of how music can create. Yeah, Ariana.
John and I have just been watching The Woman in White, which is based on an old Wilkie Collins novel that's, you know, it's a mystery, sort of Dickens era. And the music in that is, I keep complaining about it because it's just too much. There's a little, you know, dissonance, and it's just all the time.
All the time.
So
yeah, and wouldn't it be nice if you could, there's no way you can black it out without not hearing the dialogue.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn, you know, can I just hear this freaking film without this stuff? So, okay, very interesting today about music making its appearance. Okay, Renee.
I was wondering if like you hear a song like from your childhood and, you know, like when you're a teenager and then you hear it all throughout your life, it reminds you of, you know, you feel nostalgic or whatever, but can like one singular note contain programming? It's like you don't even know it's there.
Yes. For example, in the test of the emergency broadcast system that I've been talking about.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I could almost replicate what it is. There are so many freaking fear codes and portal openings in that thing. And they were doing that shit in the hospital right before I went into surgery. Okay? And I knew the aliens were there trying to yank my chain, like Gloria and Sylvia were talking about that in the funny thing that they did this. But yeah, they use it because what they've done is they've paired that sound. This is how programming works. They'll pair a sound, a smell, a sight, or something at, you know, one of your deep sense levels. This is what they're showing me right now. How does Marguerite know so much about this? One wonders, okay? Now, so what they do is they pair it with a thought form that creates fear. And then a bizarre image. So what they would do, I don't know if any of you had this here on the East Coast as a child, Lisa, maybe, you know, we'd watch a lot of TV and then they would have, this is a test of the emergency broadcast system. And it was like freaking ungodly, that piercing sound, the screen that was really weird of like colored bars of TV. And then this is, quote, only a test. If this had been an actual emergency, so like they're putting all these energies into that, you would have been told what to do or where to go. And then everybody's pictures of like duck and cover and going into nuclear, you know, shelters and everything come up or whatever. So they paired together fear, a bizarre image that makes no sense, and then the sound. And so, yes, they successfully programmed into that sound. And there's other ways that they can do that as well. And I think when they do mind control, and here's Marguerite knowing a lot about it, when they have the people in their chairs, they're using tones, like uncomfortable tones.
I can pop in and say that Prince told me that much music is encoded with
Yes.
light. There's some that have light language,
Yes.
beautiful light language, and you can feel it and you can know it. And then there's some that's encoded with what you're talking about. And he said, you know, intuitively.
You know, intuitively.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Mark and that woman, these are early disclosure people. I mean, God, these poor people. She was in programming with the government, and then Mark was like the person who helped her get out of it. She said that they program people, especially young people, with all that pop music crap. That in that stuff is complete pablum, lowest common denominator, programming around sexuality and around being passive vehicles. Okay, so the tones, even the progressions of chords, and some of them, as we know, we can get into ecstatic progressions, and we can get into sexual stimulation through music, you know. And so they do all that in those songs, and they link the lyrics together, right? And then when they link the visual, that's why, like what they're showing me right now, is that's why the MTV videos were so powerful, because they were combining yet the visual to seal the programming. And these would all be things about gangsta, about sexuality, about how you had to look, right? All these things that they program young people with to get them totally off course and in their anxiety, and then, you know, becoming heroin addicts. Okay. So it's just like, yeah, there's a lot there. So we could go on and on, but okay. All right, Renee, go ahead.
And then I see Ariana's face is like, because she's all about song and voice and music. So maybe the human voice is the one thing that can't be programmed. You know, I don't know, maybe. You think?
Don't we love that?
That's interesting. I know that we can break out of energetic patterns, etc., by using our voices, by consciously changing how we're using even our speaking voice. Our own voice is our own sound healer, and so, you know, vibration is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And then the discernment factor comes in again, just like what came through in my public oracle reading about the internet, and how do we teach our kids to be safe, you know, to deal with this digital programming, the internet programming. And it was to get back to our body wisdom.
Yeah.
And to use our discernment, pay attention when our stomach is tying in knots. So same thing with when you're watching a movie, or when we were getting this, you know, the music is like, you know, doing not good things to me. Use our discernment, and we've been trained out of that. We've been trained to just keep going and ignore our body wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I got off Facebook for the most part, because I was getting in knots. And so, oh, Renee, yeah.
I just, you know, and to shut up. How many of, you know, parents tell their kids all the time to shut up?
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I think that rock stars can have their voices used. You know, I mean, I'm thinking of Whitney Houston, and I'm thinking of that one who would sing the really, really high voices that like had a nervous breakdown.
Mariah Carey?
Yeah, Mariah Carey. I think their voices were used for a lot of stuff, and those women did not do well. They got taken down through whatever was going on. And they, you know, can lure these people with the idea of fame and all that. And then, wow, there's heck to pay with that. Okay, Renee, keep going.
And then back to question one, a big shift coming. Change happens in cycles. The change that I am referring to has already begun. I felt like there was, like Ariana, I didn't see anything about the spirals, but I feel like it was kind of, and then starting again. So that was kind of great to hear you say that. And then the change coming, the change coming, I feel like like this whole day has been kind of one big question answered when that we're having a big heart expansion, and that's coming, I think, soon. And in order to stop us from really fully getting into that and accepting it and becoming, almost the negativity had to start. So maybe a few years ago, people started getting activated because there was this battle going on, you know, light against dark. But I think we are, because, you know, even in 16, I just feel like we're expanding more and more and more. Okay.
Yes. And I just want to tell you, when you're here, what I say, it's almost that exactly. So I love how we're getting similar. We've got those overlapping, you know, almond places, and then extra, you know, fascinating process. Okay.
And number 3, soul versus divine spark, and then the dormant parts of our brain. A divine spark is within every soul. We have consciousness, personality, and a soul, and the divine spark is what brings it all together and brings it to life. We are we are beautiful, magnificent beings, and we are always trying to understand the world around us and get excited when we hear that we might have superhuman capabilities. We have not yet tapped into our full power as individuals or as a group, and our mind is unlimited. The more that we are able to access these parts of our mind and the longer that we stay in it, the more that later on we can kind of, I saw like a little energy ball, and the more that you activate those parts, the longer they stay on, the more the cells around them, the parts around them can also become activated. So that's, thank you.
Wonderful, beautiful. All right, go celebrate. Have yourself an ice cream cone. All right, you did a very good job.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, like so much was paralleling what I received. And those were great questions too. So thank you. Very good for us to riff off. Beautiful. Again, highly encouraged for you to use that in your blogs, create blogs out of that as part of your own ministry, or create a little video YouTube, you know, even just reading it, whatever. Okay. So very good.
Thank you.
All right, darling. Okay. So Lisa.
Okay, so you're going to see that mind parallels, but in different language, as always.
Yeah.
So regarding the big shift, what I got was, you are correct that things are indeed shifting, and yet much will feel the same as it starts to feel different. And Ariana, that's that spiral, right? What we mean by this is that the shift will be gradual, and then poof, all of a sudden you are there in a very different space. What can you expect? A lightening of the energy that has felt so dense these past years, a sense that there is hope, an understanding that the universe works in ways that are both orderly and chaotic, but that what comes from that order versus chaos is exactly what's needed. How will this impact your physical body? A decrease in the tension you didn't even know you were holding, which in turn allows you more freedom and movement along with the desire for that movement. All have been spending too much time in their heads and out of the body that it will feel welcome to come back down into it and live there once again. Choosing to inhabit a physical body is always a challenge for those souls who embark upon it, make no mistake. But there doesn't have to be this conscious push-pull to be in and move out, as there has been for many who do this work. Allow the movement into the physical to be easy and joyful. So that's that becoming reconnected and grounded even more. But I had to laugh at the spiral because I'm like, that's exactly what I got, just in a different way of saying it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful. Great.
And the problems in the world ours to fix? That whole thing. Those are certainly important questions and ones that cannot be answered easily. What is yours to know now that will serve you is this: follow the energy. If there is passion within you to address something, do that. Some are called to work with animals, some government, some clean water. There are more than enough lovely souls to take care of what is needed. Where is your passion calling you? What difference can you make in your own world? Follow the energy and the calling and join with others who have the same. Your question about why so many get attached to an outcome they cannot change is interesting. When one is attached to an outcome, it can move things in a more positive direction, of course. But attachment without action is squandering the passion mentioned above. Also, that attachment allows one to feel as if they are doing something when they are running around in circles. Perhaps for them, that is all they can manage at the time. Allow them their spinning path and be open to redirection if you are asked. Regarding triggering, if you understand what is yours to do and that others are also available, perhaps you won't feel so triggered. Does the triggering come from feeling helpless? Does it come from being able to see where help is needed, yet none is forthcoming? Always look in your own backyard first. Action helps more than you know to alleviate the feelings of how can this ever be solved? And then soul versus divine spark. What if they are all parts of the whole? What if there is no difference? Only rooms that hold energies that support your divine work. What if the room you access on any given day is the one that is needed to be aired out and released? All the same, yet each is different. And regarding channeling, it's not the brain per se, but the brain is utilized to process the information. Yes, all have that ability, but that ability does not serve each soul equally in every lifetime. One must have a soul level requirement for that skill to present itself. In every lifetime, every skill is available. Your soul chooses what it needs for the work it wishes to do.
Beautiful. Once again, several blogs in there, Lisa. I encourage you to put those out there. You know, that's your blog material. Okay. There's a lot of teaching in there. And I think we're all just realizing how we could have a class where we just turn on the Zoom thing or get in front of people and just start giving an oracle, and that's it. No preparation, no muss, no fuss. You know, like we're at that stage, and it's very valuable. And so I encourage that. And I think that's part of my writing pilgrimage, is to see, you know, what's going to come out when I do cognitive stuff that I know that I have already. And then when I just do oracle receptivity. Yeah. Ariana.
I just had an idea that we could even charge for it.
Well,
we could even do these online and charge something like $10 for people to.
Yeah, that's what Nora Harold does. She does $11.
Yeah.
And she asks questions and gives an oracle.
I know. I mean, yes. You know, there are many, you can decide how you want to do it. Do you want to do it for free, or do you want to do it in person? Do you want to do it online? Do you want to have a little ding, you know, once you start getting a little bit known and we've all been doing it on a regular basis, you know, the regularity is what brings the trustworthiness. And over time, you'll be surprised. So, you know, and like, just keep doing them, whether people show up or don't show up. You know, I mean, and then the thing is, you can do a lot with what you pull through. You can create ebooks, you can create teachings, you can, right? So this is a gift of gold. It really is. What we've got here. We've got access to the whole Akashic records, and it's easy. All right. So yeah, just here, I'll share mine and just listen to the overlaps. Okay. So the big shift. Many of us who are attuned to the subtle energies of the universe have indeed been feeling a bump up of intensity already. This indeed does seem to be the time of a great global acceleration and activation. For the first time in thousands of years, we are able to communicate with one another instantaneously and as a globe. This is the positive part of the internet connectivity. Okay, after thousands of years of separation, even though telepathic communication is always available, that was broken, right? This is the positive part of the internet connectivity, which of course is also being used in our duality by negative forces to attempt to drag us into negative domains, including artificial intelligence. But the positive aspect of what is happening is now people in the remotest villages can have access to the internet, at least for now. So this has indeed accelerated our collective awareness. It has been increasingly intense, an intense and bumpy ride since 2012, and there have been numbers of spikes. This is partly why our group here has been facing the depths of our wounds and challenges. And I thought this was really important, and this was like the key headline for today in terms of what to take away from today. Each one of us has been brought to our knees, so to speak, with the oldest soul level problem that we have, the karmic problem that we have, that's not just this lifetime, but goes back. We're at it. This is because we are being called to work with it in deeper and deeper ways, using our tools and practices to continuously transmute the negative emotional energy within ourselves and to come into the heart. Something, of course, you already know, but I think it's just a really good reminder to know. So this is the intensifying all around the planet as people are being brought to breaking points. So that's why we had like such a dip last month, which was kind of like the middle of our training, so to speak, you know, and there's always that dip in the middle of any training, really. And it was November, so it was the dark time of year, you know, underworld energies that we were all dealing with. So all of this is what you are experiencing as the potential big thing happening in the first 3 months of the year. But this is part of a continuous stream that has been going on for quite some time. The hope is that there are enough people who have enough tools that you will be able to transmit the energies for yourself, and thereby you will assist others in going through the process themselves. So, you know, lately I've been like down in the pit again, the pit, the same old pit, almost like from day one, like this is as bad as ever. I'm feeling, you know, my things, loneliness, alone, da-da-da-da-da, abandoned, all that, and really in it. Like, holy crap, I'm going to have to go to the psychiatric hospital. But then what good is that going to do me? They're just going to do drugs. You know, like just feeling on the verge of breaking down. And I think a number of us have been feeling that way in our own little way at times. And it's the calisthenic of getting back up. And then up, I'm going down again, and then getting back up. And the more you do that, the more you're leaching out that energy, that soul level wound, and you're healing it, okay? So you are all part of assisting with this wave. Remember that it's important to do the personal work as much as it is important for you to serve as oracles. So whenever you're feeling like crap, just know, hey, I'm doing the deepest spiritual work of all right now, even though I feel like a blathering child, you know, that is nowhere. Have I accelerated at all? Well, that's the richest point, okay? Because that's the place where people are being led. And as you are getting up and down from it, you're helping to change the energies of the world, okay? And apply everything you know to the constant transmuting of what is transpiring within you in your own emotional body. This is how you will make the most of this wave that has been coming through the human family and the planet. This is how light makes the most of the shadow. There is what you might call a battle of good and evil going on over the planet as certain energies attempt to take over humanity's reality and consciousness. But the forces of light continue to use that as a means of helping you to refine yourself. So always understand that no matter how intense the negative force, you do have what you need to use it as a period of initiation and a threshold of evolution at a new level. So I thought that was just lifting me up right then in like the span of 3 minutes just to receive that message. And then the thing about problems in the world to fix. It is important that, as Voltaire famously said, every person should tend to their own garden. This is related to what was said previously, that it is critical now that everyone focus on their own personal healing. When you feel yourself down in your underworld pit, use your tools to start climbing out and transmute and release the negative energy that is gripping you. Continue to cultivate your sacred heart. Continue to work with the subtle nature realms and recharge and reconnect by walking out in and communing with nature. Continue to use that grounding as a basis for your deeper vibrational meditations. We are now being required to connect with Source many times a day. Okay? I've been getting the message in level 2 big time. One meditation at the morning, not enough. Maybe one meditation at the night, not enough. That's why those of us that have a little more free time in our day, hello, Ariana there, make use of yourself, okay? You should be meditating and doing your tools 5 times a day. Now, on top of it, so here's what's been coming in. I might have mentioned this to you or various of you, but this was coming in big time in level 2 this last couple of weeks. There is a legend that Mary Magdalene, when she was in the, toward the latter part of her life, and she went to France to live, she lived in the caves. There's a legend, quote, she was lifted up by the angels 7 times a day. What does that mean? She was on the meditation rock 7 times a day doing it. Okay? She was making use of her time in that cave. And so now Connie Viveros, local woman, she went to France this year and she got that message and she's like, holy crap, because, she works with clients too. And she's like, everybody's all in the pit. And she's like, well, have you meditated? When was the last time you meditated? And they're like, she's like, well, okay, like it's just not going to happen automatically, not with the forces that are upon us right now. So a couple of other students, it was the same message 7 times a day. And this is like the basis of the Mecca 5 times a day, where they're like, da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da, doing up and down. And then they go and, play video games or whatever. No, it's just like you're meant to actually transmute and get in that space 7 times a day, and whatever other ablutions or whatever she was doing, which you can all figure out what it is. But I'm realizing, oh my God, I'm going to learn I'm going to have to give myself permission and create space in my life for several more times a day, even for 10 minutes. And because now we can pop in, it's not going to take that hour, but just to pop in and to get back, right? Think about 7 times a day. So now it's just like Ariana's like, I thought I was all proud of myself because I was going to red energy 4 days a week. Now it's exponentially expanded. Oh my God. It's a good thing I don't have a job right now, because this is full time. Hello. Okay. So we're all, okay. So now I'm realizing why the women were in the cloisters, right? And so let's make use of it. Okay, so you want to weave the dimensions together. In that practice, you're bringing your 3rd dimension into 5th dimension, and then you're pulling 5th dimension down into your 3rd dimension. This is why you're all being required to face your own deepest wounds, because that energy must be transmuted before you can move into deeper dimensions of reality. We know this, but it's just we have to hear it again and again. It's like the teaching broken record that just cannot end right now. As you fix yourself, you radiate energy that is helpful to others, okay, as we've been saying. At the same time, if you are feeling called to speak, write, or act about various questions or issues, and it is in your passion, Lisa, to do so, you are encouraged to engage in those activities. When you unite your 3rd chakra with your heart chakra, Ariana, in actions and activism, at whatever level, it is a very powerful combination to assist with the planetary healing and evolution. So part of your process is to use all your tools when being a spiritual activist to not be in the triggered state, where the lower chakras are overblown and would result in actions, thoughts, or words that could actually be detrimental to others and create karma for yourself. Your well-meaning desire to bring healing to our world is better served through your coming from your own calm, clear-centered state. Passionate action coming from that state is loving and can be very influential. It is meant for each person to do what they feel called to do to be part of the healing. If the world or others do not go according to your wishes, this is an opportunity to once again move into a loving and compassionate attitude and keep going with your own ministry, right? Again, things we know, but it's so profound. Then the soul versus the spark. The divine spark is the origin point of your soul. It is the 0 point that gives birth to your soul, which then gestates through the amniotic fluid of the divine universe. I think, Ariana, you were saying that in different words, right? The divine spark is the place where the black hole becomes the white hole, the place where you as divine gives birth to yourself. I was like, holy shit, you know, virgin birth, you know, in a sense, every point of your soul, so to speak, is actually divine spark. Again, you know, we were all saying, so your soul is a holographic expression of divine spark multiplied. When you deliver an oracle, you are accessing natural aspects of the human body, mind, spirit. These aspects have been underutilized through the actions of beings that have attempted to push the world into ignorance for their own purposes. But more and more people are awakening to this native aspect of their being. It is like a muscle that can either develop to its full potential or atrophy. The location of this awareness is not just the brain or even the upper chakras, but everywhere in the hologram that is your body, mind, spirit, and beyond. You know, very similar to what we were all receiving. So, whew, that's exciting. And I think that's kind of a perfect punctuation mark, you know, for where we are, and underline for where we are collectively as an oracle group, priestesshood. We really, you know, when we're talking about tests of validity and so forth, and how do we know information is right, it's like doing this type of activity and then setting it up for communal sharing and just seeing, okay, you know, this is feeling like truth. We're getting similar things. We're getting extra elements of it that are very interesting according to our personality or our guides or whatever. And, you know, this is a vision that I've had for this work. So it's very exciting.